Are you a good guest? Come on in and welcome to my home. Seriously, honestly, welcome to my home. Today I have a big question for you, and that is, are you a good guest? Now, I have talked about being a good host. Hit that eye in the sky, it will take you to that day. But are you a good guest? There are some things to consider because we're going into the holiday season, or actually we are actually in the holiday season, and the question becomes, are you a good guest? Or are you one of those guests that people truly hate? Let's take it from the very beginning, from the minute you get the invitation to whatever it is that you're going for, or going to. The question becomes, do you respond to the invitation? If you don't, you've already hit the not a good guest part. But I'm going to bet you responded to the invitation, and you let the person know that you are or are not going, because that's really important that they know ahead of time. And you also let them know that you're going to be bringing somebody or not going to be bringing somebody. Another big point, because nothing is worse than a surprise guest that you weren't planning for. If the invitation does not say you and a guest, or if the person says, hey, come on over for Christmas dinner, and they're not expecting you to bring a guest, that could be sort of big. If you want to bring somebody, do bring it up from the beginning. Let them know, because then they can say, oh, I don't have enough chairs, I don't have enough space. If they don't, it's okay. Don't be that person who's like,
well, if I can't bring them, I'm not going.
No, don't be that person. I know that you're going to be very responsible and do the wonderful thing. Now, okay, it's the day of the get-together. You've let your host know if you can spend the entire time or not spend the entire time, or if you're going to be arriving late or anything about that, because there's nothing worse than the host not knowing when you're going to get there. So when are you going to get there? That is a big question. Do not show up early. Ridiculously early. I have had people who show up 2 hours early for a party. That's annoying. I'm not necessarily always ready. Well, that's a lie, because I probably really am ready. But it's still just annoying because there are last minute checks I want to do. And I've also had people show up 3 hours late. Once again, still annoying. Do things happen? Yes, things happen and come up. If they do, let your host know. Call your host. Make sure that you have your host's phone number. Okay, so you've arrived on time. If they say dinner's at 5, try to arrive about 15 minutes early. If they give you a window that says dinner's between 2 and 2:30, you can arrive just about 2 o'clock, because dinner probably isn't till 2:30. And I'm one of these big people who I'm against the window thing. It just drives people who are coming to your party, crazy. Alright, so you've arrived. Let's do a few things before we get out of the car. Remember the last time you went to Aunt Helen's house, and Aunt Helen's house is so hot? Dress appropriately. If you know the person's house is always hot or always cold, okay, dress for it. The other thing is, do you need to carry in all the stuff which you are going to carry in with you? That's a big thing at Christmas time. At Christmas time, as you're bringing in all sorts of presents and those sort of things, anything extra that you don't need to bring in, don't bring in. Coats, hats, shoes, those sort of things that you just don't need, don't bring them. Leave them out in the car. Leave them at home. Don't be the person who has 50,000 of everything and you just have it all scattered around yourself, taking up room. Alright, so you've arrived. You've seated yourself. There are a few things to know. Don't be a snoop. That's important. A lot of people love to go snooping through a house because the house is filled with people and you can go looking around without being told that you can go looking around. Don't do that. If you want to look around, ask the host. They can say yes, no, and just abide by their decisions. It's that simple. Don't bring food that needs to be prepared. If you've been invited to something where you're supposed to bring the food already cooked. Save the host some time. There's nothing more frustrating than having to try to make room in your oven, which is already small enough, for food that needs to be prepared. Have your food prepared. These are really simple things that you can do to make the next time that you go to a party really simple. It's that easy. If you have any other ideas about this, let me know down in the comments. And as always, remember, you can get a hold of me on most social media at CM Coleman Home. Don't forget to subscribe. Every Wednesday is tips for you in your house, and starting in the new year, we are going to have a whole series about, getting a house. It'll be a lot of fun, and I hope I get to see you again next time.